AEW presents All Out this Saturday live from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and it looks like All Elite Wrestling is going to have a sizable crowd in attendance as ticket sales look good for All Out this weekend. All this and more in this news update. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with ticket sales for AEW All Out coming up this Saturday in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Of course, a lot has been made of September 20th for a day in pro wrestling. But this upcoming Saturday, AEW All Out will broadcast live from the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And as the company looks to return to the venue for the first time since the Forbidden Door pay-per-view in 2023, tickets are selling well with just a few days left until the show. According to WrestleTix, AEW have distributed 10,988 tickets for All Out thus far, with only over 1,200 seats still available for purchase. As Saturday inches closer, AEW will be looking to exceed their ticket sales for Forbidden Door 2 years ago, which sold nearly 14,000 seats in the same venue. The cheapest ticket available is priced at $52 Canadian, with many seats still empty in the upper bowl of the building. There are several matches, of course, that have been announced for AEW All Out. We'll talk about them as we go through the video. It's going to feature several high-profile title matches as well as returns. Of course, if we get any more details about ticket sales, we'll let you know in a future video. Let's go to last night's AEW September to Remember on TBS ahead of All Out this weekend. The stakes have been raised for All Out when it comes to the AEW World Championship match. The September 17th edition of AEW Dynamite, the September to Remember edition of the show, kicked off with a bang as Hangman Adam Page and Kyle Fletcher signed the contract for their AEW World Championship match at the All Out pay-per-view. After exchanging a war of words, Hangman added a wrinkle to the contest, revealing that Fletcher will be stripped of his TNT Championship if any members of the Don Callis family get involved in the All Out match. Fletcher agreed to this stipulation, claiming he doesn't need help to defeat Page at All Out. At All Out, Fletcher will look to extend his pay-per-view singles winning streak, which started after he defeated Mark Briscoe at AEW Dynasty and Hiromu Takahashi at Forbidden Door. Now, let's move on to the AEW World Tag Team titles because we know what the field will be for the big title match at All Out on Saturday. The field is now set for the Tag Team ladder match at All Out to kick off the second hour of AEW September to Remember. The Young Bucks clashed with the Bang Bang Gang in the first qualifying match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship ladder match at All Out. Nicholas and Matthew Jackson ended up winning the contest, with Matt making the pin on Juice Robinson after planting him with a TK driver. The third hour of the show was kicked off with the second qualifying bout, with Kick Sabian and Killswitch taking on the Jet Speed duo of Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey. We'll get into the finish of that, but we saw Jet Speed qualify. The show was headlined by the third and final qualifying match, with Top Flight facing off against the Don Callis family duo of Josh Alexander and Hechicero. In the end, Don Callis was very happy as Hechicero and Alexander scored the victory to advance to All Out. Hechicero earned the victory for his team after pinning Dante Martin. So that match is now set for All Out, and we know the participants in the AEW Tag Team title ladder match. Several matches have also been added to the Saturday Tailgate Brawl ahead of All Out. Of course, it's going to be airing on TNT and HBO Max. The rubber match between Daniel Garcia and Katsuyori Shibata will go down at AEW Tailgate Brawl. The bout was confirmed on the September 17th episode of AEW Dynamite. Garcia, standing next to Claudio Castagnoli, Marina Shafir, and Wheeler Yuta, issued the challenge in a video package. Shibata, flanked by Powerhouse Hobbs and Samoa Joe, accepted. As I mentioned, AEW Tailgate Brawl airs at 2 p.m. Eastern on TNT, 1 hour before AEW All Out. Now, Bryan Danielson had some words for Darby Allin last night, and Danielson has made a big promise. Just days before his coffin match with Jon Moxley at AEW All Out, Darby Allin sat down with Bryan Danielson for a brief interview at AEW September to Remember. Near the end of the interview, Darby pleaded with Danielson to not get involved in his bout with Moxley, saying that he still blames himself for the events of AEW Wrestle Dream in 2024. Danielson ended up giving Darby Allin his word, but only on the condition that Darby promises to follow through on one of Danielson's requests. The segment ended with Danielson whispering his request in Darby Allin's ear. Moments later, Excalibur asked the American Dragon to reveal his request, but he declined to do so. Of course, if we get any more details on what that is, we'll let you know in a future video. Mascara Dorada has qualified for the AEW Unified Championship three-way match at All Out. AEW September to Remember featured the final qualifying match for the AEW Unified Championship match at All Out as the Beast Mortos faced off against Mascara Dorada. In the end, Dorada was able to score the shocking victory over Mortos, bringing his two-match winning streak to an end. Dorada won the bout via pinfall after nailing Mortos with a shooting star press. With the victory, Dorada joins Konosuke Takeshita and the current AEW Unified Champion Kazuchika Okada in a three-way title match at the upcoming pay-per-view. After the match, Okada and Takeshita came out to confront Dorada, but ended up coming face-to-face instead. This allowed Dorada to take out Okada with a springboard splash before getting in Takeshita's face. Dax Harwood, as you can see right there, didn't have the best of nights last night. FTR came face-to-face with Christian Cage and Cope at AEW September to Remember, days before their tag team showdown at AEW All Out. In the promo, Cash Wheeler discussed helping Cope get his career back, Cope trying to steal their spotlight and becoming the greatest tag team of all time. Dax mentioned the legendary matches FTR had with Big Bill and Enzo, American Alpha, DIY, the Young Bucks, Bullet Club Gold, the Outrunners, and the Briscoes. He continued on, but Cope said that before FTR even started their careers, he and Christian were already one of the greatest tag teams, noting that they turned a match into a pay-per-view, a reference to tables, ladders, and chairs starting out as a gimmick match and eventually becoming a WWE PLE. Christian said less and got to fighting, striking Dax Harwood with the mic and splitting him open before security jumped in. FTR, of course, hit security with the Shatter Machine while Cope hit a spear and Christian hit the kill switch to run off the multitude of security guards. Christian and Cope ran off FTR to close the segment. Now, Killswitch, a member of Christian Cage's former faction, is seemingly no longer affiliated with the group. Ahead, of course, of Forbidden Door, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage had reunited on AEW television, with them set to face off against Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne of the Patriarchy. However, an injury to Wayne led him being pulled from the match, with him instead being replaced by the returning Killswitch. Ever since Killswitch's return, he and Kip have been having tensions, which officially came to a head on last night's episode of Dynamite. On the show, the two men teamed up to face off against Jet Speed, with the winning team going on to be part of that ladder match for the tag titles at All Out this weekend. After more tensions between Killswitch and Kip Sabian, Killswitch hopped off the apron, leaving Kip to fall to Jet Speed, bringing effectively an end to their alliance. Now, speaking of factions, it looks like the Hurt Syndicate could be getting more names being added to their group. Of course, the Hurt Syndicate have been a dominant faction for the year that they've been in All Elite Wrestling, and they could be adding some reinforcements. Fightful Select's Sean Ross Sapp has learned that there has been discussion in adding new, younger members to the group. Naturally, Cedric Alexander has been speculated online, but Fightful say they've not heard that he's being brought in at this time. He's been working in TNA of late, but Fightful have not confirmed that he's actually signed to a contract. Fightful have also heard potential new signings could be added. There were some unusual reports earlier this year indicating that MVP was on his way out of the company, but Fightful said they haven't heard that whatsoever. All members are under multi-year contracts with the company and seem to be doing well in All Elite Wrestling. Now let's switch over to NXT. We have the ratings for Tuesday's Homecoming Special edition of the show. Tuesday night's Homecoming episode of WWE NXT averaged 737,000 viewers on the CW. That's up over 12% from last week. It's the largest audience total for the show since August 5th. The Homecoming Special took place from NXT's original home of Full Sail University and included appearances by past NXT stars, along with Paul Triple H Levesque, Shawn Michaels, and William Regal. The show drew a 0.17 rating in the 1849 demo, a number that is up over 21% from last week and ties the highest rating NXT has done in that category since February 11th. The show finished 10th on all of television in the key demo and ranked 6th among network programming in prime time. The major competition was the Dancing with the Stars season premiere on ABC, which did the best ratings for that program since 2020, and Top TV with a 1.06 rating in the 1849 and 5.38 million viewers overall. As compared to the same week in 2024, when the show still aired on USA Network, NXT's overall viewership was up 8.9%, while the 1849 was down 19.1%, so the audience on network TV continues to skew much older than it did on cable. Now, of course, many people are still discussing the announcement of WrestleMania 43 coming to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in 2027. But what does this mean for WrestleMania weekend in general? The weekend of WWE WrestleMania has featured a whole host of independent wrestling events in the same city as WWE's biggest show of the year over the past several years, with two of the most prominent events being WrestleCon and GCW's The Collective. WrestleMania has taken place in North America throughout the show's history, but that will change, of course, in 2027, as it was recently announced that WrestleMania 43 will emanate from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. This has left the status of independent wrestling events over WrestleMania 43 weekend up in the air, and Post Wrestling has reported that both Michael Bocchino of High Spots and GCW's Brett Lauderdale are uncertain about hosting events in Saudi Arabia. Bocchino noted to Post Wrestling it was premature to make a definitive decision, but he noted running WrestleCon in Saudi Arabia was highly unlikely. Instead, the convention may still take place in the United States. Brett Lauderdale of GCW, meanwhile, noted he had been approached by two organizations about holding The Collective in Saudi Arabia, but it was too early to say whether any plans for GCW in the Middle East were realistic. Lauderdale also admitted there would likely be restrictions on the presentation of GCW shows if they were held in Saudi Arabia. Of course, a traditional GCW The Collective event has been Effie's Big Gay Brunch, a show which features homosexual and transgender wrestlers. Effie has already ruled out the event taking place in Saudi Arabia for obvious reasons. Now, WWE could be holding a PLE in Italy next year. WWE President Nick Khan revealed to Sport Business that Italy will be hosting a WWE Premium Live event next year. Further details about the event were not revealed, but WWE have often held the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event in between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania in recent years. The next PLE will coincide with WWE's weekly programming move to Netflix in Italy, as WWE shows currently air on Warner Bros. Discovery networks in the country. The 2026 show will be WWE's first ever PLE in Italy. WWE taped SmackDown from Bologna earlier this year as part of the company's pre-WrestleMania European tour. Now, ESPN, of course, they're gearing up for WrestlePalooza this weekend, and they were asked about Brock Lesnar featuring on the upcoming PLE. Brock Lesnar is scheduled to work his first match since returning to WWE at WrestlePalooza on Saturday, September 20th, when he goes one-on-one with John Cena. WWE bringing back Lesnar has received criticism due to Lesnar being named in Janelle Grant's ongoing sex trafficking lawsuit against Vince McMahon and WWE. The former WWE champion working WrestlePalooza, though, seemingly had little to do with ESPN programming and acquisitions lead Matt Kenney noting on a media call that WWE maintains creative control and they are simply the distributor of WrestlePalooza in the United States, saying, quote, "Our relationship with the WWE is such where they have creative control. I think it's important to provide some context there. We are distributors of the events. It's not all that dissimilar to the other rights holder relationship we have, where we have the relationships with the league. Obviously, a glove, stick, and ball league is a little bit different than the combat sports world, as we could all appreciate," Kenny said. But in regards to our relationship with the WWE, they retain creative control, which, by the way, we're fine with because they have built an incredible business for a long period of time. For as much as I playfully talked about my WWE fandom at the top of the call, I don't need to be opining on what a script should be to WWE. We're excited about what they do, how they do it, and can't wait for Saturday. Of course, WWE WrestlePalooza will air on ESPN Unlimited in the United States, while the show will air on Netflix internationally. Of course, WrestlePalooza will be the first WWE PLE on ESPN Unlimited since the two parties agreed a multi-year deal. Now, if you're concerned about how much that's going to cost you, the consumer, you can, of course, use our code, our link right there. You can scan the QR code, you can click the link in the video description. It's also going to be pinned in the comment section. You can get NordVPN, and what you can do is not only get up to 77% off and 3 months extra if you're in the United States, but also you can then change your location so you can watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT, WrestlePalooza, other WWE PLEs. You can watch Saturday night's main event for free on YouTube. All you got to do is change your location to an international territory like here in the UK or somewhere else where WWE content airs through Netflix. This will save you some money and save you from having to switch to all of these different streaming services. You can just have your Netflix subscription and do it all through NordVPN. If you use our link, you support the channel and support yourself too. It's much appreciated. And finally, Braun Strowman's upcoming show, that's WWE affiliated, even though he's no longer with WWE, has been revealed. Braun Strowman will be back on your TV screens next month for a new food-centric series. USA Network announced yesterday that everything on the menu with Braun Strowman will premiere with 2 episodes on Friday, October 24th, airing at 10 p.m. Eastern after WWE SmackDown. The show has been in development since Strowman was still with WWE. He was released by the company in May, bringing an end to his second WWE stint. In press material, Strowman is billed under his WWE name and referred to as a WWE legend. Quote, "This series follows Braun as he brings his superhuman appetite to America's most delicious destinations, from the ultimate greasy spoon favorites to the Michelin-starred temples of gastronomy and everything in between," USA Network writes. Braun doesn't just eat, he obliterates every dish in his path, bonds with the culinary warriors behind the counter, and picks his favorite from each city's most iconic flavors. The 8-city tour includes Fort Worth, Washington, D.C., Orlando, Las Vegas, Chicago, Milwaukee, New Orleans, and Tampa. The show is produced by WWE Studios and Bright North Studios, with Strowman and Paul Triple H Levesque among those listed as executive producers. But there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.